Can you share some of the names that you did not go with?
Yeah, so
Like,
they wanted us to go with Stocksmith was one of the names, which is
oof.
not horrible, but not
Yeah.
amazing. Uh, it was like Harper, 82 Harper, which was like the address of the first butcher shop in San Francisco, something like that. Granger, which would have been horrendous, like
Yeah.
no
This is
way.
very, I mean, this is very like branding agency work. It's fascinating.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. And so, we were like fine with the branding agency. They did come up with a logo, which was amazing. And we still use an iteration of that logo today. But yeah, I mean, it was basically like we had to put a lot of thought into um, what is the vibe, the brand, the messaging, the look and feel that we want to convey. And in those days, our first Kettle and Fire brand was like black and orange and red. It was like I thought it was selling to like CrossFitters who want to drink bone broth. And the iron law of e-commerce across everything I've ever started is like I start a thing thinking I'm selling to people like me, and it's always 45-year-old women that are buying the product. And
That's
so
always the end consumer. I just love this.
yeah, exactly. And so we basically had to like over the years have had to revamp and like soften our branding, our logo, or all that sort of stuff to make it more appealing to the average person.
I mean, it's a really interesting point, and I want to talk about that just for a second, because I think part of, what I'm trying to think of when coming up with these questions is what other direct to consumer kind of health focused founders might want to know. And that is very, very, very common. Starting out thinking, here's the audience, you're kind of, tailoring the aesthetic perfectly that way. So clearly, you learn that your customer is very different than who you imagine. It's probably not a 20-year-old CrossFitter male. It ends up being, to your point, a 45-year-old woman. But I want to ask a more subtle question, and because the cynical take I've heard on like what you guys have done with the brand is, oh, we need to make it more appealing for women, as if women have entirely different aesthetic tastes than men do at the end of the day. And I think another lens you could use is just you're opening up the aperture, and so that more people can relate to it. Is that how you guys have thought about it? Is there a philosophy with which you've changed the aesthetic to try to make it more relatable?
I basically think that like we had our original aesthetic was very like black, orange, super like
It's like Home Depot
traditionally
or
like
something.
yeah, I mean basically like a caveman Home Depot or some vibe like that. We basically just wanted to make it a little bit softer, a little less appealing, a little less like caveman paleo, I would say. Where the first iteration was very like, kettle, fire, like broth, bone, blood, all this sort of stuff. It was like a weird vibe, and not a weird vibe. It worked at the time, but
Yeah, just
now as
specific.
yeah, specific. And now as we've like broadened, as more people have understood sort of the health benefits of bone broth and the like, we've increased the number of people that we think our brand talks to. Now we have multiple different colors. We have much softer color palette. We have like a friendlier, more approachable font. We have sort of like a total packaging refresh, like a lot of these things that we've done. And I'm like really proud of the work that our branding team and marketing team has done with the brand and around the brand today, where I think it's like both strong, but friendly and approachable, but also like has good health kind of connotations and vibes and the like. It's something I'm very proud of.